So this is part 2 of 3 of the half peel method. We have the other videos on YouTube in a different playlist, so make sure you watch from the beginning. And we'd really appreciate it before this video starts if you can subscribe to the channel and like the video. We'd really appreciate it. It means that we can keep releasing content like this. So in this tutorial, we're going to go through installing the top half of the film when you're doing the half peel. Now, next tutorial, we're going to do the bottom half. The reason we separated it, because there is a lot of things that you don't want to miss that can be the difference between a good install and a bad install on just this section alone. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean the glass. Now, we are going to be cleaning this as normal, but if you're doing a vehicle that has felt edges, or you're doing a vehicle that just seems very dirty and very old, there are a few tricks you can do to prevent any of these problems getting into the film, because remember on the half peel the film's exposed, so these problems can get into the film and cause contamination if you don't deal with them now. So it's not something that I would always do, but it definitely will help the process. So what we can do is we can wind the window down and we can get our cloth and wrap it in our blue card, and we can just go up and down these seals. And as you can see here, you can see how much dirt that's actually picked up just from that one clean. And to get the bottom, we'll wind the window up, we'll come here, and we'll get right in behind that trim. So you can see here, how much dirt that's picked up. And this is a fairly new car, so when you're doing the older cars, there's going to be a lot more dirt in there than that. And remember the half peel, again, the film's exposed, so any little kinks, any times it catches anything, it's going to want to try and suck this dirt into the film. So if you're having problems, this is the dirt that is coming into the film. Now, another thing you can do, if you are doing the half peel when it's felt edges, you can actually tape down the edges with masking tape. So you can stick masking tape around the edges and just tint the window as normal, and again, that's going to stop the felt actually getting into the film. Now, another quick trick that you can do is actually use your heat gun, and you can actually heat all around the edges, and it's just going to stinge the fibers and it's going to make them stick to the panel instead of them being so loose and fluffy and then running into the glass. But I'm just going to stick with wiping down the seals with this one because we haven't got the felt edges. And we'll wind our window all the way to the top, give it a spray, and then we'll scrape the window down as normal. And just make sure we get in the sides. Then we're going to wind the window down. There, so I only have a very small gap at the top. I have access here, so I can do my micro edge. I don't want it to be too high because I can't get my knife in there when I'm micro edging. But if you are leaving a slight gap, you can have the window up a bit more. But I'm going to have it down around about here, so not far at all. And I'm just going to clean the top. And again, all of this is as normal. We'll wipe the top of the glass, wipe down the sides and the top of the frame. I'll give it another quick spray. Then I'll flush down the sides. Quick trick, if you find that the seals are very tight, and remember that when you're doing a half peel and using tight seals, it's going to be very hard to get the film in because obviously half the film still isn't installed, so you're going to have to really try and jam it in there. But what can help you is if you have tight seals only, you can open up the seals ever so slightly and flush in behind there. And make sure the window is nice and wet, and then we're going to go to the film and begin the install. So we're going to peel the film here, but you need to remember that when you are peeling this backing sheet, just be careful that you don't crease the top, because if you're doing the panel get method, you can actually peel it from the bottom without worrying about it. But when you're peeling from the top, if you crease the top and if you are leaving a very slight gap on the top edge, remember this is going to be right in the corner and it's not going to lay flat, so it can catch and peel over time. So just be very careful when you are peeling the backing sheet from the top. Then here, then be careful not to spray too much water at the top, as we said in the beginner's training, and make sure it's nice and wet. So we want to peel the film by about this much. Again, we don't want to peel the film halfway we need to peel it a lot more than that, so a lot more of the film can be touching the glass. So we'll pinch this side, and we'll pinch this side, and go to the vehicle. So the first touch you do to the glass is very important, because we want to get the front side of the vehicle in first, meaning that, you know, the side that's facing the front of the car in first. And we want it to touch around about here, so we have a slight gap in here, then slowly push it in. So as you can see in this section here, the film is folding really nicely. So a big mistake I see is when people are new to the half peel method, they just try and get it on straight, and it means this is going to fold back. When this side is folding back, it's going to be open to the contamination and it's going to be bringing in the dust. So we need this side to be folded in like this, so it is closed to the contamination. So we have that side on first, and we slide it all the way in. And then on this side, we bring it back. Same thing again. We need the film to be folding in this direction here, because if it's folded back like this, as you can see here, the film is actually rubbing against the trim and it's going to bring in dirt. Now, so if you find that it has landed like that and it is folded back against the trim, there's a very simple fix to that. You can just pull the film back at an angle like this, reposition it, and then push it back in. So now we're going to line up the film. Now, very important, you can see here, don't force that in. It's a very big mistake that I see. You know, another big mistake is when tinters new to this method, they try to just force this in and get it all the way in, but we can't possibly get it the whole way in because half the film isn't installed. So you just have to relax it and let it stay like this, and that way there, it's not going to crease, and the chances of it bringing in contamination are so much less. So we're going to position the film and we're going to check the outside for gaps. And again, as you can see, this whole section here still isn't pressed against the glass. You need to make sure that you let the film relax when it does that. If it doesn't want to set in, don't force it. And again, see, I'm not going to force that in. So if you find that the film's still moving, what you can do is heat 3 different sections of the outside of the glass, and it will warm the film up and help it stick in place. Because when you're half peeling, the chances that the film's going to move is a lot more, because obviously only half the film is installed, so there's a lot less tack. I'm just going to go to the top. Trim in the corners. Then I'll push down the sides, and again only to there because we don't want to stress the film. Obviously if we just force this section down, you're going to have creases in there and the film's going to fold back quite a lot, and this is going to be where the dirt gets sucked in. You just need to be so delicate around these areas. Just work on the top section here. So that's it from this tutorial on cleaning the glass and installing the top half of the film. Now, as I said, we're going to keep the bottom half installation, which is the next tutorial, separate, because there's just so many important steps that I don't want you to miss, and it's going to be easy for you to quickly skip back to a certain tutorial and you're having trouble in that area. So because you watched all the way to the end, we have a freebie for you. Below in the description, we have a link. If you click that link, you can download your free 240-page tint manual. You know, this is a really good way to be able to just quickly flick through and see the steps without missing anything instead of watching a whole video. Completely free, again in the description. Just go below and you can download it right now.